last video I was doing, the previous video, when Mr. Peabody picked up the gun, we were having a problem that he just flew off the screen. So here we go. Let's show that happen again. Here is Mr. Peabody. He's coming down the road and he sees the gun. He picks up the gun and then I'm not doing that. He just started moving uncontrollably fast forward. And I was like saying, why is that happening? So what I realized, it's the rigid body. Mr. Peabody, he has a rigid body, right? And the gun, it has a rigid body. And they are colliding with each other, even though the gun's a child. So I'm either going to have to get rid of the rigid body on the gun or somehow make the collider ignore Mr. Peabody. But I think I'll keep it simpler. I mean, the only reason I had the collider on the gun was so that when you press play, the gun realistically dropped on the floor. But, we'll just have the gun hanging in the air and we'll just take off the rigid body from the gun. We'll remove the component of the rigid body there. So now, solve that great problem we had. Now I'll have the gun there and it doesn't drop to the floor, but it kind of stays where I positioned it. And then when I pick it up, thank goodness, Mr. Peabody could now pick up the gun and shoot the gun. Okay, so that solved that problem from the last video. And now I'm encouraged to go forward and do some more. So what am I going to do now is I did say I was starting this because Mr. Peabody's animations were kind of goofy. So let's really work on this movement thing for Mr. Peabody. We worked on separating the gun from him. Now let's work on his animations a little bit better. We had the idle and the move. So the idle um, look like this. Is this Mr. Peabody? Yeah, so the idle look like this, where he's just jumping up and down. Is that the one that's been playing? I think it is. Yep, where he's jumping up and down. He has a little bit of a rubberiness to him. And now for the move, that's the one where maybe we'll make a move forward and a move backward. So the move one looks like this. Yeah, that's really whack. All right, so let me just do this move one over again. Starting from frame 1. Let's try to make this one better. Click on the record. So frame 1, he's standing. And let's see, maybe something more exciting would be, definitely he picks up a foot. This is walking forward. Picks up the foot. Then the foot, then the foot comes down. And when that one comes down, the other one comes up. And I'm really having trouble making a better animation. I think this one is going to suck too. Maybe comes down and then pushes him forward. And when it pushes him forward, he blurs like that. Let me just see if I copy this here. Control C, Control V, boop, and he comes back. So play that. It's like, let's see how that looks. No, that looks stupid too. Let's do that. Maybe I should have left the animation the way it was. Pick up a foot, and this foot stays down, and then I switch it to this foot goes down, and this one comes up. And then this one, foot comes down. And then this one comes down too. And Control C, Control V. Sorry, I'm mumbling. Edit, cut. All right, so that's the idle. And I don't know. I'm just going to leave this animation alone. I know I said that I should make a better animation, but I'm leaving it alone. Oh, one thing, his feet are behind the grass. Let me fix that by making the grass go a level back. I think that's in the sprites. Where's the grass? Here it is. Here's the prefab. And the order and layer, I'll just make it a -1. Let's see if that fixes that. Yeah, that's better. You know, maybe I need a jump animation. That's what I should do. So go back to Mr. Peabody, animation, and the jump animation I think I'm going to break into two parts. There's the jump up, and then there'll be a land animation. So on the jump, oops, I meant to press the record button. On the jump, he is there, and wait a minute, before I even start this jump, turn off the record. Let me take Mr. Peabody and move him down to the floor so I can have something to reference there. There we go. So on the jump, now I'll turn on the record. He starts on the ground, and I know from animation techniques it says that the best thing is to get the character up in the air as soon as possible to be reactive to the user. So I think I'll make his head go up first, showing that he's going up, and then what does that do to his collider? Good, the collider still stays there. I'll make his head go up first, and then I will have the rest of his body follow. Oh, all right, so the head's right there at this line. Okay, reaching right up to there. Then the rest of the body will follow. So, here goes nothing. And then I guess his head will get back together again. And the feet will kind of like maybe go like this, launching him into the air. And when he's in the air, that looks like a good air position. Maybe he'll do a little twinkle toeing. Okay. Just a little twinkle toeing, like fluttering to fly. And yeah, let's see how that looks here. No, I don't like it that his head comes back down. I like it better if his head stayed up. Let's see. Okay, so the jump up animation, that'll be one thing, I think, where he jumps up. And let's have his body come closer there. I think the twinkle toeing will be this floating animation. We'll break it into three. So jumping up, will be like that. Jumping up, will be like that. Okay. And yeah, the hard thing is when he jumps, his animation is making him come off the ground, but I know he's going to fly too. And then when he's off the ground, his collider's still down there. Darn it. But this will be the getting up in the air animation. And let's see how fast it plays. Alright, a little too fast, so let me stretch it out a little. How about 20 sec? How about 0.2? Stomp, 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 stomp. Let's try that for now. We could always go back and edit after. And now I'll add one for the land first. Land, when he reaches the ground. So I guess I should copy his position from when he jumped, the last position he was in, which is this, right? So let's copy those cells, Control C, and then go to the land, and that's where he's going to start off from. Control V, and it's not. Oh, there we go. Okay, now to record. So he was in the air flying like that. So I know we want him to have an impact. So what I'll do is, oh, it's too bad I can't see this. Okay, that's just right there on the ground. So let me bring this down. Oh no, I just did it on the wrong frame. Edit, undo. Let me move forward in time, and then the record is on, and then bring him down. Okay, so he's up there and he's coming down, and I guess when he comes down, just like when he went up, we could leave him stretching a little bit. Maybe he's looking down where he's gonna land. Okay, and then when he lands, his feet will, of course, go to the ground like this, and his feet will maybe squash out a little bit from the weight of landing. And let's get his body right in there, and squashed out feet. Could angle a little, and right there, that's body touching, and then body squishing a little bit more. And here's the squishy part. Maybe squishes back. And then quickly forward. And then bing, back to where he's supposed to be. Now let me erase this one. So back, forward, shroom, shroom, shroom. Forget this forward thing. Bing. And then what I want him to do is come back to his original position, which I'll just copy it from the idle start. Copy with Control C, sorry, Control C, gotta use a keystroke. Then go back to land, and that's what I'll stick in over here. Control V, bing. What the? That's not the original position. His feet are still shaking. Let me go back to the idle over here, see what's going on. Boom. Boom. Maybe I'll copy this one. Control. Or maybe what it is that there's something that didn't happen in idle that I had to do. So let's see, project, idle, land. And yeah, there's two little frames here missing. So maybe it's this one, copy. Hey, I started from this, so let me just copy this one. Control C, Control V. No, it's not. Edit, undo, edit curve. There, I think that's where his feet are supposed to be. Let's see how that looks. Oh, I forgot to have on the record. Here, record. Bing. Bang. Okay. There you go. Now let's see how that plays back. Let me leave it and record again. Swing, 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 swing. Probably could stretch that a little. Maybe this part could just come out. Let's see how that looks. It needs to squish more. It needs to squish more. Let's have this part compress. And on this frame over here, when did he squish? Right here? I need more time squished. So this is the stretch out one. Move you back here. So, let's see. I don't know. Maybe he's coming up too fast. Let's move this over. Maybe I do need a little wobble from this here, and this here, and this here to stretch out a little further. So there's like a wobble, boing, and then stretch out a little further like gelatin here. And then come back to original. Let's see. Whew. Boy, the animations are hard. I'm just gonna have to get somebody who could do them. There you go, that's the land. And when he's in the air, let's see, because here was the jump. Well, we'll add things as we find we need them. Right now we have the extra animations on Mr. Peabody. So let's go to his animator over here, and we can see the 2 extra animations are added in. Let's just make it easier to see them. Come on now. There you go. And the 2 extra animations after idle and move are jump, 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 and then land. And stick it in here somewhere. So I could be idle or moving and go to jump. So that means from any state I can go to jump. So I'm going to make a transition from here to jump. And jump is going to be a trigger. It's like you press it once and then it just happens. So there's jump. Okay. And here I'll put the condition on it. True. For jump. All right. So you say jump, you go to there. And I want it to only play one time. So let's make sure we see that on the animation. Oh, let's go to Mr. Peabody. Where did those animations go? Here's idle, move. Where did the... Oh, they must have gone in this folder right here, jump and land. So let's get them in here with Mr. Peabody. So jump, put them in there with Mr. Peabody, and land. Get them in there. All right, so the 2 animations, jump should play once, not repeat, and land should play once and not repeat. Okay, so here from any state, if I press the jump button, he's going to do jump animation, and then after the jump animation finishes, it will do the land animation, but it doesn't do the land animation just by itself. It's going to have to wait for a signal. So I'm going to have to make another trigger for land. And on this one, it's going to wait for the land trigger to fire for it to play the land animation. Land. Okay. She'll jump and land. And then after that, it goes to idle. Okay, jump, land, and then it goes back to idle. So let me try do a little preview of that here by controlling it manually. I press play. Mr. Peabody should do his idle animation like we see right here. He's doing the idle. And then if I say jump, he goes up, he's in the jump until I press land. Boom. That's good. So now let me stop that. And now let's control that from the script. So we'll go to Mr. Peabody's script so we can control those animations from the script. And let me just save the new prefab. Where's the script? Right here. So here I go into the script. And what do we have here? Let me make it bigger so you guys can see it. All right. So let's see, move control, jump control. Here we do the jump where it adds a force for him to go up in the air. And we will also do the anim set trigger. And the trigger is jump. That's what I named the parameter. Remember in the animator it's jump. And that will start the jump animation. Then the jump animation will continue playing. So now all we have to know, well, let's just see that part. Always do little pieces at a time and see if they work. So you don't have to so you don't have to backtrack too much to figure out where you went wrong. So here, press play. And let's see, he's moving with his new floppy foot animation. And then if I jump, that's good. And there, he touched the ground, but he didn't go back to landing. So now that's where I'm going to do the next thing. So touching the ground, that's a collision when he touches the ground. So we're going to have to go into our on collision enter function. But this is checking to see if we hit the weapon. We're going to have to do another one to see if we hit the ground. But there's going to be a lot of ground in the game. So I want to make sure that I'm using something. So if it's the grass or a rock or something else, he does the land animation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a tag for all things that are considered to be the level. So I'll just add a tag here for all things that to be considered the level. Okay. And to the ground, here's a prefab for ground. I'll just set it to be a level object. All right. And they think that means that these will all be set to level 2. Yep, since they came from the prefab. All right, so now back to Mr. Peabody script. Now I could say if collision dot game object dot compare tag to a level object equals true, then we know we hit the ground. Now we just have to know if we were coming from a jump. So we say if cam dot transform. No. That's not it. Where's my checking what animation's playing query? Well, I have it somewhere. Okay. Let me see. How do I do the anim? Let me see. I'm just looking it up here. I wrote it down somewhere. So I don't remember it off the top of my head. And of course, in these guys, I don't see it. So I think it's in another script. It's in another script that I wrote for gun, I think. Yeah, here it is. Get current animator state info. That's what we want. So if anim.get current animator state info layer 0 dot, I already forgot what it said, is name. If the animation name is jump still Then we gotta play the land animation. Anim dot set trigger land. So let me think about this. Here, there's a collision. I'm gonna be colliding with the floor with the level objects all the time if I'm walking on them. So this if is probably gonna pass into here a lot. So I could do this. I could put this question up here in one if. First, if the jump is true and I touch the floor, then do this. Let me do that. Okay. Paste. Let's do this so it doesn't have to do this. This is going to happen every time I'm touching something. All right, so now I got it. If I'm jumping and I touch the floor, then play the land animation. So let's see how that looks. I have to save the script and I go back over here. It's reading the script. All right, now press play. Okay, and I do a jump. It's a little bit, it's not smooth. It's kind of chunky. Let me see what's going on in the animator window. So there I am at idle. And I press play. There, it's doing the move, going back to the idle. I jump. Yeah, I don't know why. It's doing a bump there. What's going on the transition? It waits for the jump animation to be finished. Let me try taking that off. Nope, it's not that. But I guess I do want that. If I go up in the air and I touch something, nah, I'll leave that on for now. That wasn't that. Could it be this? These little swishes in time here. If I go like this, maybe? What does that do? It's still bumping. Maybe it's this right here. Let's see. Time's off. If I even go beyond that. It's a little thing I'm gonna have to check. So that's where I am right now. I have it that I have it that Mr. Peabody could run, move around. I separated the gun from Mr. Peabody. I have the jumping, and I think that's what I have to work on next is getting this jump a little bit smoother because it has a clunky animation when he lands. It doesn't play real smooth. And I could pick up the gun. Oh, look at that one. When I jump and I stretch, the gun is like staying by my feet instead of by my head. So I got some things to fix. I got to fix the jump animation. Well, I got to fix the landing animation because it's like clunky. And that when I jump, that the gun stays with my head. So that I'll do in the next video.